Have you ever noticed that some people never ask for help, even when they're clearly struggling? They carry everything alone, smile through the weight on their shoulders, and pretend they're fine, even when they're breaking inside. Why do they do this? What is the psychology behind it? Today, we're going to explore the hidden reasons why some people stay silent even when they desperately need support. Let's begin. One of the biggest reasons is the belief that asking for help is the same as admitting weakness. Maybe they were raised in environments where being strong was praised and being vulnerable was criticized. These people learn to survive on their own. They learn to figure things out quietly. By the time they grow up, they don't even consider asking for help. It simply doesn't exist in their mind as an option. It's not that they actively avoid help. It's that they never learned how to reach for it in the first place. Another common reason people don't ask for help is the fear of being a burden. These are often the deep thinkers, the overthinkers, the ones who care immensely about how others feel. They don't want to inconvenience anyone. They don't want someone else to have to stop their day, change their schedule, or carry their emotional weight. They tell themselves everyone already has their own problems, so instead of asking for support, they push it down, carry it alone, and pretend they're okay. But there is something even deeper. Some people don't trust that help will actually come. Maybe in the past, they asked and nobody showed up. Maybe they were ignored or even made to feel embarrassed for needing something. Perhaps they reached out once, got rejected, and decided never to try again. Experiences like that stick with you, and they teach a painful lesson. Depending on other people is dangerous. So these individuals become fiercely self-reliant, not because they want to be, but because life forced them to be. Then there are those who feel safest when they're in complete control. Asking for help means letting someone into their world. It means letting go of that control, even just a little, and for some, that feels absolutely terrifying. They would rather struggle alone than let someone see their fear, their confusion, or their mess. They hold on to the belief that if they just keep everything to themselves, things won't fall apart. The truth is, they don't avoid people, they avoid vulnerability. Perfectionist tendencies also play a huge role. Some people think they should always have the answers. They should always be able to figure things out. They should always be strong, capable, and independent. So when life gets hard, their first thought is, I should be able to handle this. Asking for help becomes a sign that they're failing to meet their own impossible expectations. They pressure themselves into silence because they've built an entire identity around being the strong one. And what about the people who don't ask for help because they feel guilty for struggling? They constantly compare themselves to others, telling themselves other people have it so much worse. Instead of reaching out, they invalidate their own pain. They convince themselves that their problems aren't important enough to bother anyone else with. This person carries the heavy belief that their feelings are less important than everyone else's. Another powerful reason people stay silent is emotional independence. These are the individuals who learned early on that they can't rely on anyone but themselves. Maybe their family was unpredictable, or the people they trusted let them down. Maybe they grew up in chaos and had to become their own parent. For them, asking for help feels unnatural and unfamiliar. Independence became their shield and eventually their identity. Of course, there's also simple embarrassment. Some people just don't want others to see their struggles. They don't want to admit they're confused, lost, or overwhelmed. They fear being judged, criticized, pitied, or seen differently. They dread hearing the words, I had no idea you were going through that, so instead, they smile. They laugh. They act like everything is perfectly fine, all while suffering silently behind closed doors. But there's a softer, more human reason too. Some people genuinely don't know what they need. They just feel overwhelmed, confused, or exhausted. They can't even put their emotions into words, so they don't ask for help because they don't know what to ask for. They're not hiding from others. They're lost inside themselves. Some people also avoid asking for help because they assume they'll be misunderstood. They've had moments where they opened up and received the wrong type of support. They got advice when they wanted comfort, solutions when they needed empathy, or judgment when they just needed understanding. So instead of risking that disappointment again, they stay quiet. And then there are the people who believe they can endure anything. They've built up incredible emotional stamina. They've survived situations that others couldn't even imagine. So now, when problems arise, they think, it's fine. I can handle it. They don't ask for help because their pain tolerance is high, sometimes too high. They forget that even the strongest people need rest. People also stay silent because they don't want to lose control of the narrative. When you ask for help, people get involved. They ask questions. They give opinions. They form their own ideas about you and your life. Some people would rather suffer completely alone than let others interpret their story for them. Others don't ask for help because they don't want to owe anyone anything. They fear that if someone helps them, they'll have to return the favor later. They don't want to feel obligated, pressured, or indebted. They prefer emotional freedom, even if it comes with the price of loneliness. And for some, it's about pride, not arrogance, but survival pride. The kind of pride that comes from surviving too much on your own. They think, I've made it this far without anyone. Why stop now? Asking for help can feel like undoing years of self-teaching and hard-won resilience. But beneath all these reasons lies one fundamental truth. People who don't ask for help often care more about protecting others and protecting themselves than they care about making life easy. Their silence isn't a sign of not needing anything. It's a shield forged from past experiences, personal beliefs, fear, and incredible strength. If you're someone who rarely asks for help, or if you love someone who stays silent even when they're hurting, please remember this. Independence is admirable, but you don't have to carry everything alone. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Sometimes, the strongest thing a person can say is, I can't do this alone. And sometimes, the reason they never ask is because they don't want to disappoint the very people they love. But you deserve support, too. You deserve people who show up for you. You deserve rest. You deserve care. If this video helped you understand yourself or someone else a little better, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into psychology and the human mind. Thanks for watching.